Any scratches I make on oh, that's hot. What's up, everyone? So today we are going to try porting and polishing this throttle body. I've never done this before, so it's going to be completely new for me. This is a second throttle body. The one on the truck is still on there. So if I mess this up, it's not really the end of the world. So I do want to get out as much as possible out of this thing. I mean, obviously it's not going to be a huge gain, if any, but it will help in conjunction with other modifications that are coming. I do want to do the half shaft mod, so I want to cut that shaft in half. So it'll just have the shaft on the back side where the threads are, and then the front side will be gone. I will probably knife edge the throttle plate as well, which I need to be careful with that. You don't want to mess up any sealing surfaces. So I've marked it where I don't want to be touching it at all. And same on the inside of here, I've got it marked where I need to not touch that sealing surface. I saw something on probably YouTube. I saw someone else doing a DIY port job, and they actually filled this area here with some aluminum weld, which I am going to do that. I've got the Lincoln sitting here all set up with the spool gun ready to go. So I want to do that so that I won't accidentally go through, and I want to get as much of this hump out of here as possible. And you can see, I mean, you can see where the hump is there. So I don't want to blow through that. I don't want to accidentally grind through that. So we'll put some weld in it, see how it does. We got a bunch of weld in there. Some of the beads are a little fat and ugly, but it's my second time using a spool gun, so not too bad, being that it's my second time. Still not pretty, so lots of practice to do, but we'll get there. What matters is it's not going to grind through when I'm grinding on the inside, so that's what really matters. So I think this next step makes me more nervous than anything else, and it's the half shaft. So I've got my hacksaw. I think that might be the best way for me to do this, just because I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to gouge any of the surface of the throttle body. So any scratches that I make where I'm actually cleaning it up doesn't matter, but I don't want to make any scratches or any mistakes where I'm not touching where the sealing surface is. So I am nervous about this part, but see how it goes. So there's something I want to show you guys while I'm doing this. So I am through that one side, kind of see it there. I am through that one side, but as I'm blowing away or trying to blow away the little bits of metal that are coming off of that, I don't know how well it's going to show that in video, but you can see it collecting there. I'm blowing away or trying to blow it away. It's just not going anywhere. So that's one of the things I'm trying to clean up with this throttle body, because if that's sticking there, so is air. So just getting rid of that should clean up the airflow through this thing a little bit. So we'll keep at it, see how this thing turns out. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna call it good there on that shaft. I'm about as close as I'm comfortable getting. I took the file to it and cleaned it up as much as I could, but I just don't want to get any closer and mess with that sealing surface. So I think I'm gonna call that good right there. Move on to the next stage. So I want to get you guys up as close in here as I can so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna start with kind of roughing it in with a carbide burr. And it's just on a Harbor Freight die grinder, nothing fancy. So You guys can do this easily also if you want to. Die grinder, I think it was like 15 bucks or something at Harbor Freight. You need to have an air compressor, which I do have a DeWalt air compressor, but you don't need to get a DeWalt air compressor. You just get a Harbor Freight one, I guess. But I'm gonna use what I have. We'll start with the carbide, and then I also have these, it's all dusty. I do have these cartridge rolls, so I can start smoothing it out with these after I've kind of got it roughed in. So I'm gonna start on, I think that's top side and front, and we'll get rid of this first ridge here and keep going until I'm happy with it. Well guys, the porting's done. Just took all my PPE off, so you can see a really sweet crease in my beard. But I don't have a whole bunch of dust in my nose and lungs, and that's good. So I did knife edge. It's not very extreme. I'm not even sure if you guys can see that on camera. I did knife edge both sides. But I wanted to leave enough that there was still a decently thick edge there, a nice, strong, thick edge that I wouldn't be worried about not sealing properly. So didn't go crazy with it, but I did knife edge both sides of it a little bit. Or, yeah, both sides, but not on the same side. You guys know what I mean. And then I took out that huge lump where it transitioned there. That's all gone. And I smoothed out this section a lot because there was a lot of really hard edges there and the air's just smashing into there. So it smoothed this direction and both ways to come out of here. You can see the areas I couldn't get into there, but those won't matter, I'm sure. But turned out pretty good. I'm not going to go any further than this. I'm not going to actually like fully polish it because it doesn't need to be a mirror finish. It doesn't need to be that smooth. On the back side, where there was that big ridge on this side as well, it was this side. So there was a big ridge. Oh, you guys can't see that. There was a big ridge that correlated with the ridge on the front side that was here as well. And that's all gone now, as you can see. So nice and smooth. Didn't touch anywhere where it actually needs to seal, which actually there, it's really shiny anyway. So it's smoother than anything that I've done. So that should be really fine. Well, hopefully it's fine because it needs to seal there. As I'm reassembling this thing, I went to Ace Hardware, grabbed a couple things that I would need. I got some new hardware so that I can now attach to this plate because the bolts that were in there are now too long and they're completely different anyway. So they wouldn't work. So I've got some new stainless hardware for that. You guys probably noticed that I did have the plastic side cover off of where the actual gears are inside this. I had actually drilled out the rivets that were through this so that I could get that off. So I have to close that back up. So I bought some bolts to go through that as well. And I also bought these little caps. So you can get a throttle body bypass kit to bypass where the coolant actually runs through the throttle body. I've done it on vehicles before, maybe not really worthwhile, but I don't live in a cold enough climate where I'm concerned about the throttle body ever freezing. And that's really the only reason for that, to run through there. So all it's doing is just heating up the throttle body, which in turn will heat up the intake charge, and that's entirely pointless. So they make little kits that come with the caps to cap these off, which you don't really need to do because they don't go anywhere. And then the coolant tube that you disconnect, you just connect those together. So I've got some clamps and a little barbed connector to just connect those together. And then just the caps to cap those off, just so nothing goes inside that hole. I don't know why anything would, but whatever. I'll cap it off anyway. So, because I need to have the new bolts in there, it'll be a completely different setup. I definitely don't want those bolts coming out ever. Picked up some red thread locker because I want those to stay in there and not go into my intake, obviously. So I will start using all this stuff, get this thing back together. For anyone that wants to know, because maybe someone would be interested in what it took to make my own throttle body bypass, because they sell kits to do it, but it's like $30, I think. I think it was the last time. It's been a really long time since I looked at them. Something like that. But this was about $2. This was about $2. And the caps were like 30 cents a piece or something. So you can make your own throttle body bypass for under $5. So just do that. Don't buy a kit. I'm going to test fit this first before I put the thread locker on it, because I want to make sure everything lines up properly before I go throwing the thread locker in it, and then I got to deal with that. So we got those all snug down, and that looks really cool. I did get ones that are a little bit longer than I wanted to get. You can kind of see sticking through there, but I will grind that down. I might just use the file, just because I can do that pretty easily, do it by hand, be careful with it, because I want those to be nice and smooth and flush. But I'll wait to actually do that until it's all assembled and the thread locker is actually in there. So got the tiny little bolt back out and put a little bit of thread locker on it. You don't need much, just a tiny little bit. That'll be enough. So now I'll put it in. So I got the bolts through the side cover. They are nice and tight, so it's all sealed back up there. And I did grind the head, or the tail, I guess. I don't really know what to call that. Ground the other side of that bolt off, so that's nice and smooth now. And I also did get those 1/4-inch caps installed onto here. They're nice and tight, so I don't think I need anything else to keep them on there. So now we just need to install it on the truck, see if it makes any difference in 0 to 60. I think this part's gonna be pretty straightforward. Just pull off the air intake, pull off that throttle body, grab a new gasket in that throttle body, put it on. Now I can show these to you guys side by side. See the one that I've ported. You can see that large ridge right there is gone out of this one. And also the hump that's all the way around there is also gone out of this one. And you can see the shaft there as well. Shaft still on the factory one, and then this one that's been half shafted. So that should make a bit of a difference there. And on the back side, there's that ridge that I told you guys about right there that is gone on this one. So nice and smooth, hopefully makes a bit of difference. That's the throttle body installed. I did start it up and it idles great, and it doesn't hang. When you tap the throttle, it doesn't hang onto the idle forever. So it looks like we kept the seal good on that. Looks like it seems to be pretty happy. We'll let it get a little cooler out, and with it being later, there'll be less people out. We'll go to the normal spot that we go to do our 0 to 60s, and we'll see if it's made any difference. I am pulling up right now to where we do the 0 to 60 times. I do have a full tank. That may make a difference based on compared to when we ran last time. Don't really expect a huge gain out of this, if anything. I guess we'll see what happens. So I'll get you guys turned around so you guys can see the screen like we've done before. So here's our previous record, 0 to 60 of 9.6 seconds. I don't know if we'll do quarter mile as well, but it's at 17.2 before we did this. And that is exactly the same, 9.6 seconds. So we know we didn't gain anything. I just ran a quarter mile test also, just out of curiosity. Figured I would see if it did the same as well, and it did exactly the same. So there's 17.2. So we probably didn't gain anything at all, but like I said, I do have a full tank. I would guess that the weight of the gas didn't really make a huge difference to it, but I also didn't figure that we would gain very much of anything out of this. I will see performance gains with it, I'm sure, as we do more. So you guys know there is a lot more coming very soon, because I am trying to get the truck ready for LS Fest West. So there are some modifications that need to be done here really quickly. So I will be getting on that, and the throttle body, I would assume for this factory motor, there's not really any different, or there's not really a restriction there. So probably wouldn't see a gain with doing this right off the bat. But I'm sure as the modifications that are going to be done here very soon, as they come when air is more of a demand, that would probably make a difference there. But I wanted to do it anyway, just out of curiosity, and with the dyno tune that's coming, I'd wanted to do this before getting the dyno tune anyway, so that the dyno tune is done with this throttle body. And that may make a difference alone, actually having a tune for the throttle body being ported. So now you guys know, if you do this and you don't have a tune done to correct fuel for this additional air, it's probably not going to do anything for you. So hopefully you guys keep up with everything we've got going as we're getting ready for LS Fest here, because it is coming up fast, and I'm going to be doing quite a few things here and making the truck pretty sweet. At least I think so. I'm sure you guys, if you're into trucks, if you're into LS stuff at all, I'm sure you guys will agree with the modifications that are coming are gonna be pretty cool. So hopefully you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe, smash the like, hit the subscribe, I don't know, like and subscribe, and hopefully you guys will keep up with what's going on. We'll see you guys very soon.